This is a true story sent in by a concerned friend of those involved. If you have any scary stories, please send them in and I will cover them. Leila and Jake had ventured into the woods behind their grandparents' old farmhouse countless times. The dense forest, with its twisted trees and overgrown paths, had always seemed like an adventure waiting to be explored. On this particular autumn day, the air was crisp and the leaves crunched underfoot like brittle paper. Their usual trails had grown dull, so they decided to explore deeper into the woods. The further they went, the more the familiar paths faded, and the forest grew denser. Shadows stretched long and dark, even though it was midday. Jake, always the brave one, insisted they keep going. Layla, more cautious, reluctantly agreed. Hours passed, and the sun dipped lower in the sky. The woods seemed to close in around them, the trees now looming giants that blocked out the light. A sense of unease crept over them, but they pushed on, hoping to find their way back before darkness fell. Just as the sky turned a deep orange, they stumbled upon a clearing. In the center stood an old, dilapidated cabin, its wooden walls covered in grime and creeping ivy. The cabin looked like something straight out of a nightmare, its windows shattered and its door hanging off its hinges. Jake, eager to investigate, led the way. "It's just an old cabin. It might have something cool inside," he said, trying to mask his own creeping apprehension. Leila hesitated, but Jake's excitement was contagious. They approached the cabin, the air growing colder with each step. As they pushed open the door, it creaked loudly, sending a shiver down their spines. The interior was just as decrepit as the outside, broken furniture, dusty floors, and cobwebs hanging like sinister lace. The cabin was eerily quiet except for the occasional rustling of rats or something more sinister skittering in the corners. Layla noticed an old, dusty photo on the wall, faded, sepia-toned, and depicting a family that looked disturbingly out of place. Their eyes seemed almost too real, too vivid, even in the ancient photograph. Jake's flashlight flickered as he examined a staircase leading to the basement. "Hey, let's check this out," he called, his voice echoing unnervingly. Leela followed reluctantly, her nerves on edge. The stairs groaned under their weight as they descended into the pitch-black basement. The beam of Jake's flashlight revealed old, rusty tools and broken crates. In the corner, something glinted in the dark. Jake moved closer and found a small, dusty chest. "Look at this," he exclaimed, prying it open. Inside lay a collection of old, yellowed letters and a strange, leather-bound book. Leela's heart raced as she glanced around, the sense of dread mounting. The basement felt colder, almost suffocating. "Jake, I think we should go," she said, her voice trembling. Before Jake could respond, they heard a faint sound, a slow, rhythmic scraping, like nails on wood. The sound grew louder, more frantic. The basement door slammed shut with a resounding thud, plunging them into darkness. Jake's flashlight flickered and then died, leaving them in oppressive blackness. Panic set in. Leela fumbled for her phone, but it was dead. Jake's breathing was heavy and quick. The scraping sound grew closer, now accompanied by a guttural whisper. The walls seemed to close in, and a chill ran through Leela as she felt an unseen presence closing in on them. "Jake, we have to find a way out," she cried, grabbing his arm. They groped in the dark, stumbling over debris and trying to find the stairs. The whispering grew louder, forming words that seemed to crawl into their minds, chilling and malevolent. The air grew thick, and a foul, rotting smell filled their nostrils. Just as they felt like they were losing hope, Jake managed to find the basement door. With a surge of adrenaline, he yanked it open, and they burst into the daylight, breathless and terrified. They didn't look back as they ran through the woods, the haunting whispers still echoing in their minds. By the time they reached the farmhouse, dusk had settled over the land. Their grandparents were waiting, worry etched on their faces. Layla and Jake tried to explain, but their words were lost in their overwhelming fear. That night, as they lay in their beds, Leela glanced out the window. The forest stood silent, dark, and foreboding. She knew they had narrowly escaped something truly malevolent, but the memory of that terrifying cabin and the whispers in the dark would haunt them forever. Thanks for watching. Please like and subscribe if you want to see more scary stories like these.